Hey there, I'm Sue Parker, mum of two, tech and data career mum turned entrepreneur who is talking to you all about how to build a lifestyle business that works for your dream life and allows you to live it and build it with more time, more freedom, and more money. So today we're talking all about tools and systems. I wanted to share with you that when I first started on this journey, even though I was in tech and data, coming over from a corporate job, the systems that they use and the systems that you need to use for a really slick, lean business that involves an online presence of some kind is completely different and is so overwhelming. The number of tools out there are literally thousands. And more about it is that you can end up getting sucked in to spending hundreds, if not thousands of pounds a month on these systems before you even get started. And that's one thing I want you to avoid. I got into the trap of subscribing to lots of different systems that seem to do little bits of the funnel that I needed doing so that my customer journey into my business was slick, and then found I was spending £500 a month in my first 6 months on technology and tools, and none of it integrated, none of it talked to each other. It all did a little part of the puzzle and I still had to get involved in between. So one of the things I want to avoid for you is that cumbersome journey for the customer, the one that feels clunky and unprofessional, but also the fact that I want you to step away from your laptop. I don't want you to be your own PA. I was my own PA for a while there. I was self-employed, but also then my admin assistant, my finance person. I don't want you to be all of those things. I want you to build a business that means you can step away from your laptop, you can serve your customers, deliver product or service really, really well, and do the thing that you do best, and outsource or automate everything else. And that's what we're going to look at today. So I've listed 7 absolute must-have tools that you either utilize or have set up that work together to have a seamless customer experience that's dead professional and gives you that time, gives you that flexibility. So first of all, if you want to get the download of this guide, you can head over to the website sueparker.io. I've got a little freebie on there, which links quite nicely with the first thing that you're going to need to set up when you are setting up your business. So you're likely to go on social media. Social media has got to be part of your strategy. It's kind of like the only way to broadcast to a larger audience and build a following so that you can get greater visibility is content and social media. So producing content might be blogging, it might be podcasting, it might be YouTubing, but these are absolute musts. When I first did my business for Empowered Leaders in Tech, I had this really great end of funnel. So basically, if you manage to find my sales page, you'll be like, wow, this sounds great, but I don't know who you are, Sue. If you manage to find my sales payment facility, it worked like a dream. But there was nobody coming in the top. There was nobody getting to that page because I hadn't done the pre-work of getting visible, doing the warm-up, doing the nurturing, serving, building credibility so that people would eventually find that sales page when I pointed it out, and they would go, yes, I want to work with this woman. She knows what she's talking about. So we need to concentrate on the first stage when our customer's going to first come across us. So we know we've got to put out social media even if we hate it. But where do you create beautiful posts? So if you have a look at the likes of Jenna Kutcher's page, the likes of Mel Robbins, Brendan Bouchard, Tony, they've all got these great quotes, haven't they, that they put out there. They've all got these things where it looks beautiful and idyllic, and you think, oh, their posts look on brand. They've got great colors, they've got great images, great layouts. Well, I used to do all this on Photoshop, and before that, GIMP, because it was like a free version of Photoshop. It took hours. Now you can just head over to Canva and you can create a free Canva account. That's Canva. If you haven't discovered it yet, you're missing out. There are so many things you can do on there. So social media posts, Instagram Reels, posts, stories, LinkedIn posts. They've got basically templates for everything that you can just drag and drop your own images into, and you can change the text on and make it the look and feel of your brand. So that is creating posts in 5 minutes, basically. The second thing you can do on there is your lead magnets. So I talked about getting people to discover you on social media, But like I just said to you, you can get a download of this guide over on my website. So you can keep forever and you can get set up with these tools, and you don't have to make notes now because you're probably listening to this podcast on the move or something. Now, guides, free guides, checklists, quizzes, all these sorts of things, workbooks, you want to create those and provide those to your audience to help them with some of their problem. And you can do all of that again on Canva. So it's a great tool. So first of all, it's a tool for actually creating those lead magnets and creating your social posts. More on lead magnets in another session when we talk about list building and all that kind of good stuff. But for now, just focus on being able to create these things to serve your audience and using a tool like Canva. Now, the second one I'm going to talk about is your controversial one here. I am going to recommend that you need a website, including a blog early on in your stages. Now, some gurus will say, I spent 2 years on LinkedIn prospecting. I never needed a website. I guarantee to you now, they have a website now, and they're probably working on their SEO right now, which means they want to appear in a Google search because they recognize there's a limitation to what you do on the platform, but also eventually you've got to take people off somebody else's real estate. This is somebody else's domain. You know, if Facebook changed their algorithm, your post might not show to your audience. If LinkedIn, Instagram, if all of these sites change the way they work because you have no say in that, maybe the only way of getting reach to your audience is by paying in the future. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm all in favor of building my own real estate, but also building my own profile. You want to be searchable. You want to be the key expert and key person of influence in your industry. To do that, if I search your name, I got to be able to come up with some social media profiles, but also a website of credible content on there that shows me what you're an expert in. So a website including blog. And I'm going to recommend WordPress. I just think it's so flexible. It's not overly technical like Drupal or something, but it's got the flexibility to have bolt-on add-ons. As your business scales, it will scale with you. So I'm going to recommend WordPress there. Start to build your online real estate, your online location. It's kind of like having a bricks and mortar store, but this is your domain. Okay, number 3 is think about the journey. So I got a customer, I've got a prospect, a potential customer. They've seen me on social media. Maybe they've headed over to my website and they've clicked on, subscribe to my email list. And how do we do that? Well, we need an email marketing provider. So an email marketing provider is somebody like MailChimp. Actually, there's thousands. ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, and this is where it can become a minefield. MailerLite, that I could go on and on and on with a list of people, and you wouldn't know who to choose. So I'm just going to give you 3 buckets depending on your price range. So the first one I'm going to say is MailerLite has got a fantastic free version up to 1,000 subscribers, and it's got automation in there, which means you can stick somebody on a journey, a nurture journey, or automatically send them a download link, whatever you want to do. You can also do campaigns, and you've got like drag and drop blocks for the templates. Mid-range price point, I'm going to say ConvertKit is really good at the mid-range. They don't do a free plan, it's all paid. And then I'm going to say ActiveCampaign is pretty fantastic when you come to high-level stuff. So if you're getting more into the professional scene, ActiveCampaign is expensive, but it gives you a CRM. It does lead scoring. There's lots of additional functionality with that I found absolutely fantastic. There is, of course, MailChimp. I just don't like the user interface. So I'm just going to give you those 3 and just say wherever your budget is, if you want to go for free, just get started with MailerLite. I'm going to tell you this. It is so simple to migrate between lots of these platforms. They will help you to do it. They will help you to export your list and then import it. The key thing is just getting started with something like this. And I think MailerLite is a really good example of that. So somebody's signed up to your lead magnet. They've signed up on your website. I want to download that link, Sue. And you've sent them the download link, and maybe you're going to email nurture them a little bit. But at some point during that journey, maybe they want to book a strategy call with you, or they want to review your pricing structure and they've got some questions. Or perhaps you're looking for podcast guests, like I always am, and you want people to schedule a session with you so that you can talk to them about the nature of the interview and what kind of things they can share with your audience. Well, here's what happened in the old days. Direct message after direct message, email after email trying to negotiate when was a slot that everybody was available. This is painful, isn't it? It's like being my own PA. Who wants to be their own PA and do the job? That's not the point of it. The point of this business is that you get the tools working for you. So an online calendar scheduling system is an absolute must in my view, even to the extent where you're out networking and you say to people, it'd be really great to have a virtual coffee with you and talk more. Maybe we become accountability buddies. I've got a mastermind set of buddies and we meet monthly. But trying to collaborate with everybody's calendars can be a nightmare. Calendly, I share my link. Everybody jumps on and goes, hey, I'll have that hour slot with you, Sue, and that one and that one. They're in the driving seat. I'm in the driving seat because I can say when I'm available and just leave it on a calendar and it'll sync with my calendar. So if I've got other bookings, it checks for double bookings. It's a no-brainer. I do a little course on this actually. It's super, super, super reasonable. You can click underneath here. It's the automated client call scheduling course 101 Kickstarter. You can just get set up. It's 40 minutes basically. Within 40 minutes, is it worth 40 minutes of your time and probably, 30 quid, 20 quid to get set up with a calendar scheduling tool that means you never have to DM or email a customer or a colleague ever again, or a freelancer or anybody who's working for you, a podcast guest, whatever it is, to say, would you like this time or this time? No, I'm not free 5 till 6. You free 6 till 7? No, I'm not free 6 till 7. What about Friday? What about Tuesday? What about Wednesday? I mean, come on. This is the modern world now. Get that set up in 40 minutes. Calendly, who I recommend, actually do a free version. So it's all even more free stuff. Canva's free. Calendly's free. Your email marketing you can even get for free. So all the costs that I've talked about so far is actually just your website, isn't it? Which depends on where you go. Okay, so super quick recap. We've had a tool for creating your lead magnets and your social posts. We've had your website, including a blog. We've got your email marketing set up. And we've got some sort of scheduling tool, some client booking tool or podcast booking tool, just a booking tool that somebody can liaise with your calendar without you having to do it. Now, number 5, we're going to look at having a custom domain. So this means instead of having, Sue123@hotmail.com or Vicky@outlook.com, we actually get to use your domain name. So my domain name is sueparker.io. Yours might be the super duper tennis elbow queen.com or something like that. Whatever it is, you want to make sure that you have that email address as being the email that you send out to people and that they communicate with you as, because it just looks so much more professional. And nowadays, there's no excuse for not doing it because it's so cheap to set up. So with Gmail, you can have this thing called Google Workspace, and Google Workspace will give you a Gmail account for about $6 a month. Not much at all. Microsoft, for the first year, they did a deal of like $1.99 a month or something crazy like that. It basically costs like 25 quid for the year for you to get set up with a Microsoft 365 account that looked like your customized domain name, your web address, which means you could also set up info@sueparker.io, sue@sueparker.io, not too many Sues, Vicky@sueparker.io. All of these things could all be set up as a custom domain email address using that tool for, like I say, 25 or $6 a month. It's a no-brainer. And then what you get with things like Gmail and Office 365 is you get some storage space as well. Now, this is great for collaboration because what you want to do on your Google Drive or on your Microsoft account is you want to be able to say to people that you bring onto your team or that you freelance with occasionally and you outsource some bits, the folder structures here, I'm going to share this folder with you, and you can just select which folders you're going to share with them or which documents, and you can collaborate and work together. So these sorts of file storage systems are also really great because when you're out and about with your laptop, all the work might be available to you. So, you might have a Mac or a desktop in the office, and you might have a laptop for when you're out traveling or you've got, you want to go on holiday and you want to access the same files. By using an online storage system, you have that flexibility of being able to access your files absolutely anywhere you like. We could do more on folder structures. I get a bit geeky out about stuff like this coming from a tech background because I know if you don't organize this stuff properly, you will just waste so much time trying to find the files that you've produced and the things that you've done. So that's a really good one to get started. So Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, you can get these from your web hosting company. You just buy an add-on. I can definitely put some links under here to help you get started. Okay, so moving on. We talk about content a lot and creating content, and social media to me is sort of that. It's here today, gone tomorrow. It's really short-lived. If somebody sees it, they're great. If they engage with it, great. But I want content as well, and so do you, that you build that means it's there evergreen, it's long-term, it keeps giving you the goods, it keeps attracting people to it that then come into your ecosystem, if you like, your environment. So things like that would be your blog, which I talked about creating, but also videos, podcasts. So videos that might be on YouTube, a podcast, any of these sorts of things, which also you can embed on your website, but it's long-term evergreen content. But then how do you create all this stuff? So if you are using video just for Instagram and you plan on just having it on your stories or your posts occasionally, or TikTok, or any of these platforms like Facebook, then you probably find that you can just use the apps and do as much editing and as much, putting content out there as you want to do. So just check on your phone or on your laptop, whatever you're using to do it, that you've got the necessary tools you need to be able to put content out in video form. I personally created the YouTube channel because I wanted some long-term longevity out of people being able to say, hey, I need help with that. I was creating this stuff and I knew that people would be after this sorts of information. So I created YouTube videos, and off the back of that, I take snippets that I then put out on TikTok and on Instagram occasionally. So here's what I use. I use iMovie to do that, which is just an app that for my Mac. It's a free version. And I figured, well, I don't want to be doing editing for a long time. I outsource a lot of this now. I do the occasional one myself, but for most parts, I get an expert who knows what they're doing with their editing to get onto this. And they'll have some pro account, because you can get all sorts of different pro video editing tools as well. But if you're going to do a podcast and it's just audio that you're recording, GarageBand is a great application that you can use on your Mac. And I think there's also a Windows version actually of GarageBand. GarageBand, the quality of sound is brilliant. Slightly steep learning curve at the beginning, but once you get there, it's actually quite simple to use. So by the time you're doing your third edit, it will feel like second nature, especially if you batch do your editing, which I would 100% recommend you do, especially in the beginning. So video and podcast editing, making sure you've got a tool, free ones if possible when you're getting going, but learning, investing in some decent ones if you're going to go all in, you want to make this super professional and you're going to use it for a long time, or outsource. You want some tool that you can use to do your video and podcast editing. Okay, so we're moving on to the last thing in the list, the last tool that we need. And this is the nice bit, because this is when all that hard work pays off. But also, the other stuff's fun, isn't it? Creating content, doing the thing that you're passionate about, talking about the thing that you love so much and sharing it with the world. That bit's fun, but that doesn't pay the bills. And we're here to create a business so that you can create more freedom. You can have the money side of things that allows you to live your life, a dream life, but at the same time using these tools and serving people and doing something that feels purposeful. So how do we collect money from people? We need to figure out our e-commerce route, our payment solution. And I'm going to give you a couple of ways that I do it, but ultimately this depends on the type of product or service. Now, I find a lot of clients have blockers when it comes to this, because they think, oh, well, I'm a service. I will go to their house, or I will meet them on a venue and we will do something. But what they forget is that the people are most likely making a payment to them. The customers make a payment to you. And that's happening either before you do things or after, or there's a deposit before and then the payment after. It's not happening necessarily at your venue or while you're doing the service. Maybe you're a coaching business and you offer coaching in like 6-week batches or something, 6-week blocks, and you offer a facility for that. But what you do is today, you maybe go and create a manual invoice. You perhaps email it over to the customer. You wait to see if they're going to pay by bank transfer. You keep checking your bank statement to see, has the bank transfer gone in? No, it's still not gone in. I'll have to chase them. We've got a session on Friday and you've still not paid. You need to pay before the session on Friday. And then you keep checking your bank statement. Eventually a payment turns up and you go, great, I'll send them a receipt. So you then manually create a receipt, you pop it on an email and send it over to somebody. Then the next month they don't pay, their credit card details fail maybe, they're expired. You get the gist of things. This is very manual. This is you being a financial operations assistant to your own business. And that is not what we want for you at all. Here's what we want for you. We want a system that just works for you. It does the collections, it sorts out with the client, it does reminders, it does checking, and they can just click and pay. And you just have it as your terms and conditions that if you haven't paid, the sessions don't start, or if you haven't paid the deposit, then you don't hold your date, we cancel it and I book another photo shooting. Or if it's a digital product, the product doesn't get released. So if it's like a training course that you're offering and you've done recorded video sessions, or it's a guide or a book or a PDF or something like that, if it's a digital product you're selling, then basically they just don't get access to it until they click pay and actually paid and it's worked. So I use Thrivecart for mine, which is basically this great tool that covers, if you different payment installment plans. If somebody's credit card bounces or something like that, it tells them your credit card's expiring, you need to enter a new one. It does all that dunning thing for me, and it gives them an invoice and a receipt without me having to manually create one. So Thrivecart is a really great tool. It integrates with PayPal and with Stripe for actually processing the transaction. So it just ends up in my PayPal business account, basically. And that's a really simple way of doing it. Now, if you're a digital product service, so you offer a course, it might be that you're going to put your course on Teachable or Thinkific. You're thinking, Sue, too many systems, Kartra, Kajabi, the list goes on. If you're going to put your course on one of those platforms, they do have payment facilities on them. It's just making sure that you've figured out which one you want to go with to make sure you've got that end of funnel journey, that bit where they're going to buy and a way to buy. That doesn't mean it's held up by you being an administrator, a financial operations administrator in your own business. This has just got to work. You want to go to sleep at night. You want to wake up and find you've got bookings and find you've got money because you've made sales. It's really simple. And that's what we want to do. So you want to wake up to a healthy PayPal account or a healthy business account or whatever it is that's just working for you, not to a list of you need to send an invoice to this person, you need to chase this person for payment. And there will be elements of that undoubtedly that somebody needs to do on your team. But we want the majority of this noise taken care of and automated with a really cool and slick professional system. Because remember, this is all as well about the customer experience. If my experience with you is booking something and then not getting an invoice for 3 days because you've forgotten to do it or you're too busy, and then the invoice has got an error on it because it was manually done, this is just not a good experience. Then I've got to go to my bank, set up you as a payment, and then make the payment. Like that that feels clunky. I just want to click my card details in and give you the money. I just want to throw you the money. So make it easy for me. So that's 7 systems that are all about getting a really good business that requires an online presence. So I call it a lifestyle business because there's actually loads of different services that can be offline, like coaching, massage, therapy, photo shoots, all of these sorts of other services that can be done using these sorts of automated systems to enable the process to just happen in a seamless way. That means you step away from your desk, you're serving your clients more, you're happier, you've got more freedom, more time, you've got more money coming in, and they are having a really great customer experience. Now, I can't wait to share more about these with you. We have a course on how to organize a client call scheduling system. We also have 2 courses coming on how to list build, create your lead nurturing, get a lead magnet set up, all of that kind of great stuff. And we'll definitely be doing more on the further elements down the funnel and how you generate those leads and get people working all the way down through your experience so they start to buy. But hopefully that's given you a real good kickstart to say, avoid the noise. These are the things I need to do. And just a quick reminder, you can get the checklist over on the blog. So if you would like to hear more, if you've got loads of questions about this, don't forget you can also tag me on social media. I am Sue Parker. Or you can reach out to me on email. It's hello@sueparker.io. And you can also, if you feel so kind, I would be so blessed if you would subscribe and leave me a review. A 5-star review would be so welcoming to help me continue to know that this is helping somebody, and share it with other people, because there's room for everybody. You know, if there can be 7 or 8 different hairdressers in a village, there absolutely can be 7 or 8 of whatever you do. If there are competition of what you do, then the reality is that means there is a good market for it. So you definitely should be having a go and not using it as an excuse to say somebody already does this. I want you to join together with me, even if what you're doing is very similar. We can all help and support each other on our freedom lifestyle journeys. For now, take care, and I'll speak to you again very soon.